If you like what I do, consider joining my channel or donating to my coffee. Links in the description.
Jeans, beer, girl, creek, boots, truck, tan legs, train, dog, beer, Dixie cup. Got a beer in my beer and a Chevy in my truck. Got a dog at the wheel.
Tonight will be the night that I will fall for you.
Oh, a baby. It's finally time to play Aggelos 2. And yes, it is pronounced Aggelos.
Aggelos. Aggelos.
It's the Greek word for angel. I'm only bringing it up because anytime I pronounce it properly, I get a deluge, see what I did there, of comments saying I'm trolling or I'm doing that thing where I purposefully mispronounce things to get people mad so they'll comment and increase engagement. I promise that's not how I do things on this channel. Anyway, Aggelos 2 picks up 1,000 years after the first game. And during that time, the game has updated from 8-bit to 16-bit. What a time we live in. After a quarrel between gods, the supreme god Lumen has been exiled, and the shadows have returned. Aggelos returns to Lumen's realm to call for aid when he's blasted out of the sky. Now, this angel must discover what's corrupting the other angels and push back the darkness for good. Is this a tale that should be sung on high, or a story not worthy of songs?
Combat.
Aggelos 2, if you can believe it, is a run and gun. Not entirely, but it very much can be if that's how you want to play. Your character has a sword, and it's powerful, but he also can blast things from a distance. You'll often find yourself charging and blasting at an enemy before finishing them off with a quick slash. It's awesome and super satisfying. Aggelos 2's main hook is its form shifting. You have your angel form with the light element and a demon form you unlock pretty early with the dark element. Each form controls similarly, with their main differences being their attacks. Angel form has a sweeping strike with his sword and a projectile that shoots across the screen, while the demon form opts for a thrust and a projectile that dissipates after a short distance, but it is wider and goes through walls, which is super handy. They also each have a couple of special moves that require mana to pull off, and each form's specials shine in different scenarios. Angel has this tornado that destroys everything directly above him, and Demon has this Kamehameha wave that destroys everything in front of him. To refill mana, simply attack enemies. But what really makes this form swapping mechanic interesting is the polarity effect it has. I guess that's what it's called. You know what I mean. Like an Ikaruga, or for an MV example, Record of Lodoss War, Deedland Wonder Labyrinth. In Aggelos 2, Angel can destroy the light element, or purple projectiles, with his sword, and Demon can destroy dark element, or blackish red projectiles, with his. This adds diversity and challenge to encounters, especially the boss fights. The bosses use this polarity mechanic to its fullest extent, sometimes filling the room with projectiles for you to navigate and destroy in order to survive. Thankfully, you have an Estus Flask type healing mechanic you can use to also help you survive. I'll be real with you. As long as you're staying up to date on your gear, more on that in the progression section, you won't find the bosses too challenging. I know I didn't. Many of them I would just tank and spank. I'd literally be inside of them, slashing my sword and doing special abilities, healing when I had to, until I won. For me, this was perfectly fine. Like I've said in many other videos, I don't mind easy bosses as long as their easiness is a reward for my exploration. And that's the case for Aggelos 2. I went up against some bosses that were a legit challenge, only to explore, get better stuff, and return to just absolutely humiliate them. But if that doesn't appeal to you, this game also has a hard mode, so consider that if you really want a challenge. And that's it for combat. Aggelos 2 delivers a fast, flexible combat system built around satisfying run-and-gun button mashing and swordplay that requires a bit more finesse. Its form shifting and polarity mechanic keep encounters strategic, especially during its flashy and often over-the-top boss fights. Combat's rarely difficult unless you fall behind on your discoveries during exploration, but for players who want more bite, Hard mode is right there. Taking all this together, Aggelos 2 is a stylish, energetic action platformer that rewards exploration and has fantastic combat.
Abilities, platforming.
Aggelos 2's abilities are interesting in that they're tied to many different aspects of your character as opposed to brand new traversal skills. You get the wings to float or hover, and you get a grappling hook to let you cling to walls, but then you get your demon form so you can interact with specific things and enter the world of shadows, scrolls that enhance your existing moves so they can remove obstacles in your path, and upgrade statues to enhance your wings so you can fly properly. Overall, it's a nice assortment of abilities that will surprise you as you obtain them. On the platforming side of things, Aggelos 2 is not a precision platformer, nor is it a game that's trying to make you sweat with difficult platforming challenges. But dang, is its platforming freaking good. You got your moment-to-moment jumping and hopping around, and that feels nice thanks to Aggelos' controls feeling tight and responsive. But the real piece de resistance is your wings and how they function. From the very beginning of the game, after a very brief time without them in the game's opening 5 minutes, you have these wings that allow you to fly as long as you have stamina, this bar here. And, of course, when that stamina depletes, you fall like a sack of potatoes. Giving players flight from the start meant the level design had to be made so flight wasn't completely busted. As you can imagine, this led to some interesting platforming very early in the game and is an excellent hook. In the beginning, your wings allow you to hover more than fly, but unlike most hovers in Metroidvanias, you don't descend as you move. Instead, you stay at the exact altitude you began your flight and can move left and right without fear of falling, unless your stamina runs out. This meant I could reach all kinds of different platforms and areas as long as I stayed mindful of my surroundings. For instance, I could climb a wall, leap off, and then hover from this greater height to reach a platform I had no chance of reaching on the other side of the screen. Searching for and spotting these scenarios was a direct hit of dopamine to my brain. And the platforming fun doesn't stop there. Form shifting also gets in on the action. Throughout your journey, you'll find objects and mechanisms that require you to activate them with either light or dark projectiles, forcing you to swap forms on the fly in order to pass some of these tougher platforming sections. I know I said in this section's opening that platforming won't make you sweat, but it's still engaging and can offer up some challenging sections every now and then. The game has a few biome gimmicks, but most are related to puzzles. Aggelos 2 has a lot of puzzles to solve, most of which are finding switches that activate or deactivate blocks or raise blocks and stuff like that. I didn't find them exceptionally brain-busting, but I did find them refreshing. That's it for this section. Aggelos 2's ability design and platforming come together as a smart and surprising toolkit. The result is a platforming experience that's not precision-focused, but consistently fun, driven by tight controls, clever stamina-based hovering, and form swap puzzles that keep you engaged.
Progression.
Aggelos kicks the Vania part of Metroidvania to the curb and goes full Metroid-like in this sequel. Gone are the XP and level system, gear, and item usage of the first Aggelos. Aggelos 2 is all about enhancing yourself through exploration. You find hearts to increase your HP, spell containers to increase your mana, vials to increase your healing charges, and statues to upgrade your sword, armor, wings, and bracelet. Your bracelet is how you shoot your projectiles. Of course, if you're going to upgrade your equipment, you'll need to find the statues and pay the cost for the upgrade. And that's where Aggelos spices things up a bit. Much like the wallet upgrade in Ocarina of Time, Aggelos can only hold so much currency until he finds orb containers. Every orb container increases your capacity by 100 orbs, so if you want that sword upgrade that costs 1600 orbs, you better have found at least 15 orb containers, or you won't have the dough. This container mechanic is a clever way to tie player growth to exploration. Orbs can also be used in the game's many shops where you can buy all kinds of things, including hearts, spell and orb containers, vials, and some more interesting trinkets. That's it for progression. Aggelos 2 drops the Vania half entirely and goes all in on Metroid-like progression, turning exploration into the sole engine of your power. The orb container limitation is a fun approach to character growth that rewards you putting in the legwork. The game has a clean, rewarding progression loop that makes exploration feel meaningful from start to finish.
Exploration.
Boys, let me tell you, Aggelos 2 has exploration. A lot of it. You'll be doing some exploring in this game, I tell you what. Seriously, this game is gigantic. I'd love to show you the entire map, but I don't want to spoil things. I'll just say Aggelos 2's map is probably twice the size of Aggelos 1's map, but then Aggelos 2 gives you 2 maps. I guess I could have just said the game is 4 times as big as the original Aggelos, but that wouldn't have been as dramatic. Anyway, yes, Aggelos does the light world / dark world thing, effectively giving you 2 separate worlds to explore, and it's awesome. Aggelos uses rifts between worlds to hide access to other parts of the world pretty effectively. Like, you'll look at your map and be like, how the heck do I get there? Then you hop into the opposite world and find a rift that takes you to the area you were just scratching your head about. I freaking love when dual maps have this kind of synergy. I loved it in Link to the Past, I loved it in Axiom Verge 2, and I love it in Aggelos 2. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this dual map setup would not work if the game didn't nail fast travel. Both of these worlds are huge, but you'll eventually unlock fast travel to every save point, and it is glorious. Aggelos 2 even does that thing that I liked so much in Dandara, where you unlock fast travel and then have to use it to gain access to a place you couldn't access without unlocking fast travel. I guess that's minor spoilers, but I just really like when devs do that move. Something else really interesting about Aggelos 2's exploration is how the game opens up. The game's map opens up in layers, and I like to call this cell exploration, spelled C-E-L, like an animation cell. In traditional animation, different elements of a scene are drawn on separate transparent sheets and then stacked to create the full image. Aggelos 2's map works the same way. Each major story beat adds a new cell, a new layer of the world, on top of what you already have. The early game feels mostly linear, with a few side paths to give the illusion of freedom, but once the story kicks in, the map expands in distinct layers tied to narrative milestones. Cell 1 is when you obtain the demon form, which literally opens an entire new map. Cell 2 happens when you gather 3 objects that unlock even more major regions. Each cell requires a specific story goal to activate, but the way you reach that goal is completely non-linear. You choose your own routes within each layer, even though the layers themselves unlock in a set order. It's a great way to tie narrative progression and exploration together while keeping the experience open but still guided enough to avoid cognitive overload, which is really important for a dual map system of this size. In short, I just really like how this map unfolds as you play. Now, the million-dollar question, is exploration rewarding? Yup, but with an end-game caveat that doesn't take away from the overall enjoyment of exploration, but still leaves a bad taste in your mouth if you're a perfectionist. I just spoke about the dual map system and cell exploration, and I brought up the collectibles in the video's previous section, but that's not all you can find. There are also stars and question mark objects to discover, and I have no idea what they do. And I'll probably never know what they do because of eggs. This is speculation on my end, but whatever those stars and question mark objects are, I'm pretty sure they have something to do with the mystical eggs scattered around these 2 maps. These eggs work like the grubs from Hollow Knight. Collect them, take them to a location, and get reward milestones. Thing is, there are 100 of these frickin' eggs, and I found 98. And as of the publication of this video, there are no items or NPCs to help you locate eggs. Therefore, I am tasked to tediously scour these 2 enormous maps to find the remaining 2 eggs. And to that I say, it's a no for me, dog. Until they patch in something that'll help me find these 2 eggs, I'm out. Even Hollow Knight gave you the grub locations after you took down the collector, so this kind of assistance isn't unheard of. So, the verdict? Yes, exploration is rewarding and awesome, unless you're a completionist. If you love 100%ing games, you better keep those peepers peeled. Let's round out this section with the in-game map. It's fine, very retro. You can mark it up, and it automatically marks points of interest. My only issue is that you can't zoom in on it, and that would have been helpful for those huge maps. But the first game had 0 map, so win. That'll do it for exploration. Aggelos 2 delivers one of the most robust exploration experiences in any modern Metroid-like, layering a massive dual-world map with clever cell exploration, smart fast travel design, and a constant stream of meaningful discoveries. The light-dark world synergy keeps navigation interesting, The layered story-driven map expansion gives exploration structure without killing freedom, and the game rewards curiosity with upgrades, collectibles, and secrets at a steady pace. It's genuinely rewarding to dig through both maps, unless you're a completionist hunting all 100 mystical eggs, in which case the lack of tracking will block you out of some content.
Atmosphere. Narrative.
If you grew up with the Super Nintendo or the Sega Genesis, you'll no doubt believe in love at first sight after laying your eyes on this 16-bit gem. Inspired by the Wonder Boy series, sprites are big, bright, and kind of adorable. The world of light is full of castles and forests and lakes and even a cloudy biome to roam around in, while the world of shadow is darker with red, fleshy textures and environments that just look gross. It's a nice contrast between pleasant and nasty, with the nasty side of things never coming across as anything above cartoony horror. Largely, Aggelos 2 keeps things light and retro, both visually and audibly. The sound effects are deliciously old school, and the music has that patented Sega Genesis twang to it that just takes me back, you know? Narratively, the game continues the retro motif by keeping dialogue sparse. There are a few NPCs you can interact with, and everything they say is written at a third grade reading level. This isn't a knock at the game's writing, it's actually a compliment, as the dialogue feels like something I would have read in a game during the 16-bit era. It feels intentional and authentic, and I dig it. As for endings, there's a bad and good ending that I've gotten, and they are fittingly retro and brief. But if there's another ending that involves collecting all 100 eggs, I'll never know.
Final thoughts and score.
Aggelos 2 is a fast, joyful blast of retro action that never stops being fun. It's bright, it's colorful, and there's a whole lot to explore and uncover. Combat's flashy without being complicated, platforming's clever without being punishing, and form swapping adds real depth that elevates both. I award Aggelos 2 an 8.5 out of 10. As of August 27th, 2026, Aggelos 2 will be available digitally on PC and every major console, with physical editions available on PlayStation 5 and Switch. I played Aggelos 2 exclusively on the Nintendo Switch, with 0 issues, handheld or docked.
Pair placement.
Aggelos 2 stacks its strengths exactly where a Metroidvania needs them. A sprawling world that unfolds in clever layers, exploration that constantly feeds progression, and excellent combat and platforming that stays engaging the whole way through. It's a highly rewarding game that respects your time and delivers that satisfying rhythm of discovery, empowerment, and forward momentum that defines the genre at its best. The game's only hiccup is its lack of tools to help with 100% cleanup. Without something to help with the egg hunt, content will be blocked for players who've missed even a single egg in this massive world. Aggelos 2 soars to the A tier. Aggelos 2 is an incredible game that any Metroidvania or retro gaming enthusiast would love. I loved it, even though searching for those last eggs made me Aggelos my mind.